So earlier this week, when I made my announcement for my Scam Buster Bootcamp, as a video from 2 days ago, I outlined a particular scam that cost an American gentleman over $300,000. Yes, 300K in a scam, in a romance scam, an online one. And in this 3-part video series, this is video 1, where I'm going to be outlining the biggest red flags for you to be aware of so that you do not get scammed when you come to a city like Odessa in Ukraine, where I'm filming this video today. Odessa, scammer central, but with my help, you're going to avoid those scammers. So let's picture the scene. You've met a woman online on a dating site. Now, it's a dating site where you buy credits for communication. And as you communicate, you normally buy messages, or maybe there's some voice and video messages that you can also send in addition to other things you can pay for on the site, like say sending presents like flowers, etc. But basically you're paying in some way for this communication with money. So you've been talking for a few weeks, a few months. The communication is going great. You're investing emotionally in this relationship, and time comes and you decide to go on actually few guys, but I read a line, there's only 3% of foreign men, especially from North America, that actually start online relationships or go onto these online dating sites where you have to pay, actually come to Eastern Europe ever to actually try and meet the women that they've been talking to. So you're one of those 3%. Kudos to you for at least taking that audacious step and actually flying over here. You super excited, obviously. You're going to meet with this woman you believe you have such a strong connection with. You fly in, you get to the airport, and you realize it's a no-show. You get a lame message probably afterwards telling you something came up, she couldn't come to the airport, she still loves you, but basically you've been had, right? So this is typically with online, what are called letter writing scams, or PPL, which is pay per letter websites, where these sites make their money from you staying on and communicating there. So what are the red flags that the woman that you are talking to is not genuine? Now, I think the biggest red flag is her refusing or finding excuse never to communicate with you off this particular site. Now, these sites have rules, of course. They wouldn't make money they would make less money for sure if they allowed you just to say, hey, my Skype is this, my email is X, and my Facebook is here, my Instagram is over here, and then people, obviously you wouldn't stick on the site, but you would just go and communicate there. Now, this actually provides a very good cover for these scammer girls, because they can just say, hey, I can't give you my details because they'll throw me off the site, and I'm sincerely trying to find a good man for marriage, and I don't want to blow that by being thrown off the site. Really. Believe me, if she were excited about you, she would find a way not to make you spend thousands of dollars communicating with her. That is the first thing. Of course, there can be other excuses like, hey, I don't know you, I want to protect my privacy, you might be dangerous, I want to protect my safety. All of this is complete BS, especially when you see how most women, they put most of their information online anyways, especially with Instagram and Instagram stories. You can know where someone is the whole time. Now, I actually had a consulting client who's exactly in this trap. I also referred to him in my announcement video for the bootcamp. And basically, he had spent $600 communicating with this woman. He bought his flights to Eastern Europe, and he had a few doubts. Fortunately, so he contacted me. He had watched my videos here on YouTube, and he just thought something smells a little bit fishy. We got on the call, we ran through everything, and that was the big red flag that for him as well, was that she would not communicate him off the site. She seemed to get a little bit tetchy, a little bit aggressive when he tried to suggest that, talking about her privacy and whatnot. So basically, with the information that we had about her, like her age, her date of birth, when her birthday was, the city she resided in, of course we had the photos, and we went on to another social media platform, and we were actually going to search for her there. We found her, and I actually had a link to her Instagram. Boom. He went and wrote her a message on Instagram. Crickets. Actually, she did like the message, which was weird, but she never replied. the whole time, still all these messages coming on the website that he's paying for the communication on. He actually had to already bought some credits, so for him it was no additional costs. You know, it was already sunk cost anyway, so he used those to just verify 100% that the person who was talking to him on that website was not actually the girl herself, because we were able to track her down. This is actually very common. If you look at a lot of these websites now, they actually say they guarantee it's a real person. So she is a real person, but you are not talking to her at all. Now, they've actually become even more evolved. You may get like a photo with, say, flowers that you may have bought on the website. They'll actually be those particular flowers. She takes the photo. Maybe she keeps them, but more like she hands them back and just to the person who delivered them, to the florist. So they obviously just take your money on the website for that. Or they actually do personalized video matches. And that was the big, I think, way to lure in the guy who lost the 300K in the video I was talking about, the American gentleman, not my client, but because it was personalized. And like, they will say your name and then talk about, oh, thank you for the nice messages. I'm really excited and looking forward to see you. So then you're really lured in. So the average scam value to these thieves, or ASV as I like to call it, is $1,500 US, right? That's the average what they're able to scam guys out of. And it can go all the way up. We had that one example was over $300,000. And I'm sure probably there's some guy out there who spent more, but just didn't want to face the public humiliation of actually having to admit that, but this guy did. And it's good for you to understand exactly how you can be lured into these sites. But it's not just about the money. I mean, my consulting guy would have flown there. Just think about the amount of time you would have invested, as well as the money, and then most importantly, the emotions, and sitting there completely dejected and humiliated at the airport when it's a no-show and you get a lame excuse. On the website, of course, you still have to pay to reply to those lame excuses. So this is the biggest red flag, not agreeing to communicate in some way, because they can drop hints, and if someone is really interested in you, doesn't want you to spend thousands of dollars communicating with them if you can do it for free. Because obviously if they're interested in a long-term relationship, they don't want you wasting your money. So this is one of the things that you really need to know for coming here and successfully dating in Eastern Europe. But it's not everything you need to know. There are lots of things, because if you're going to avoid the scammers here, as I said in that other video, it's over $200 million the US citizens lose per year in 2019 to online romance scams. So you definitely have to be careful, because a lot of them are here in Odessa Mama Scammer Central. So what I've done is I put together a series of live trainings to get you prepared for your trip, make sure that we together beat the scammers. But you have to be on my exclusive mailing list to get the opportunity to enroll. There's a link below. Go do that. Do it immediately, because we're actually starting with the first live training on Sunday, this Sunday at in the evening, so here in Ukraine. So I'm going to close the doors for enrollment in a few days' time, so you definitely need to go and do that now. Do побачення. До свидания. See you very soon in the next video.
SAR Experience.